Welcome back or welcome to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Lindsay and I am just a girl living in my 20s in Dallas, Fort Worth. I have been MIA on YouTube, so I figured we would just catch up. Today's Friday. I just got home from work not too long ago. We had like a Mother's Day celebration at work, so I've just been snacking on some of the leftovers. This is just some shrimp fried rice that we had at work today. Recently, I have been more focused on short form content just because that's kind of the thing right now. But I do love doing longer form content, so that's why I figured, yes, even if the short form content is performing better, why not do what I enjoy and film some long form content as well. So just to catch up, I recently started a new job. I say recently, it was a few months ago, and I did mention it in one of my previous vlogs. I said I wasn't gonna say exactly who I worked for or what I did, but what I do requires a license. So the first few weeks of my job, I spent training and learning for my licensing exam. Then I took and passed my licensing exam. And now I'm in like my training period where we get certified, which takes a certain amount of time. And then after that point, you are considered certified and really you can make any lateral move. So within the same department, but in a different position. Right now, I'm not sure exactly what the future for my career will look like, but I am definitely excited. This is a bigger company than I was working for previously, so there's a ton of different opportunities and potential for growth with this company. I am just about 2 months away from being 2 years out from having my vertical sleeve gastrectomy, which is my gastric sleeve surgery. I am down about 127 pounds, so I started at 255 pounds was the highest weight that I reached. That was obviously prior to my surgery. I had my surgery July 14th of 2023, and I have been pretty consistently losing weight ever since then. Obviously, at first, it was that extreme weight loss, and then really over the past year, maybe year and a half, it's more evened out. So something cool about that is that I am actually half of the weight that I was at my highest weight. But my goals have changed, and rather than simply losing weight, I now want to gain muscle more than anything. I really don't want to lose any more weight, but if it happens, it happens. But like I said, my goals are different now, and I'm really focused on gaining muscle. I like to work out for my mental health. So I go to the gym 5 days a week, each day before work. Monday, I would do an interval run. So run fast, run at a steady pace, and continue doing that. Tuesday, I would do either upper or lower body. Wednesday, I would do a long run. Thursday, I would do the weightlifting that I didn't do on Tuesday. And then Friday, I would do about 45 minutes on the Stairmaster. But I think that's a little bit too high intensity for me. So now what I've switched it to is I'm gonna do a long run, upper or lower body, a walk in the middle of the week, so something a little lower intensity, but still getting my workout in. Upper or lower, whatever I didn't do on Tuesday, on Thursday. And then Friday, I'm gonna do that longer run. So taking out a day of the high intensity, taking out the Stairmaster. I've also been trying to focus on getting more protein in. I could do a lot better of a job, but I'm trying my best. Recently, I tried out the Clean Simple Eats protein, and I'm still working on getting the right recipe for it. I've tried a protein coffee, which was okay. I did some protein powder in Greek yogurt as like a fruit bowl, and that was really good. So I think that's probably gonna be the way that I get my protein powder in. And then it'll just be a matter of getting protein in through meats. I haven't traveled in quite some time. I think the last traveling that I did was for Thanksgiving. So about 6 months ago, we went out to Broken Bow and stayed in a cabin for a few days. But my husband and I have 2 trips planned. Neither of them are huge, but in June, we're gonna go to New Orleans with my dad. And then in July, we're gonna go to Galveston just by ourselves to enjoy the beach. And I know people hate on Galveston and say that it's the dirtiest beach, whatever. I think it's more nostalgic for me because my dad and I went growing up and I just love it. I feel like there's so much to do there, and Yeah, like I said, I think it's just more nostalgic for me than anything. We still need to plan our honeymoon, but I think that is going to happen at the end of the year. We think we're going to go on a cruise, but honestly, we're not sure what we're going to do. We were going to go on our honeymoon in April, but with my job change, I didn't have PTO, so we've postponed it to hopefully at the end of this year. Like I said earlier, I have a lot of ideas of what I want to do in life and what my future will look like, but I'm not sure exactly what my plan is. At some point, I'd love to finish my master's degree, which is in business administration. I would love to start my small business back up, but I feel like with being in the certification and really just being new in my job, it's kind of a lot of stress, especially if I'm wanting to work on my MBA again. So that's really been put on the back burner, and my small business was cookies. I would go to little vendor markets on the weekends, but I actually had this conversation with one of my coworkers this week that working 7 days just isn't it. I understand that it's for advancing myself and advancing my career, but I just don't think my weekends are something that I'm willing to sacrifice right now, especially if there's so many other things that I'm wanting to do. And like I previously stated, this job, this company, there's so much room for growth. So we shall see where life takes me. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you so much for watching. It is good to be back, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.